an AMI digital exclusive.
By hook or by cuck.
This week, Christian and I are heading to Mexico to start his dream of hand cycling the Baja Divide. We pulled up to the very first river crossing within about 2 kilometers of being on the trail, and I realized that we might have a serious problem.
No way.
We got off to a, rocky start, you could say. So I've brought producer Pamela and Art, our lead camera, in to dish the dirt. In this week's episode, we finally get onto the Baja Divide Trail. What did the production plan look like at that point?
We had Jimmy the Fixer, and he brought a Talon, which is like a 4-seater UTV. We had one of his drivers named Anson, who was driving what we duped as the limo, because it was like a 6-seater side-by-side, long, with like a box in the back. And then we had Carlos, which was Jimmy's mechanic, UTV mechanic, not like van or bike. And then as far as crew goes, we had Art, our director of photography. We had Nathan, our camera guy. We brought in a third named Bray, and then we had Alonzo, who was our location audio. Micah, kind of associate producer, field producer, our cook, Larry, and our medic, Chris. And then we had Bruce and Christian as cast.
Would that be a lot of people?
Like for a big production, it's not a lot. For a moving production, it's a fair amount because that's a lot of seats.
Turns out.
A lot of vehicles that we need. Yeah, everything gets bigger and more hotels, more problematic in that sense. But it's also when we got into areas where we clearly needed to split up, that allowed us to split up because we had enough people.
So Art, you're the director of photography. What's your role on a shoot like this?
Do you want to Google it?
No, I would say like it varies from production to production based on the nature of the production, but my specific roles were camera equipment, managing crew.
My personal therapist. No, Art's really like, he's responsible for the vision. So it's like, how do you make it feel like the story we're trying to tell through cameras? So like lighting, angles, eye lines, like all those things that really go to build a feeling.
I'm interested for both of you, what were issues that you encountered early on?
When Art and I flew out from our Scout, it definitely, when we took off, it was very brown.
Yes.
And then
Very dry.
I remember flying in, because you drove in, right?
Oh yeah.
And I flew in a few days ahead of everyone
So
else.
I got some hints before you guys.
Right. And I was like, oh wow, it's very
I remember texting
floral.
you being like, these
Look
aren't
out
the
your
pictures
window.
that I saw. I was like,
oh, maybe it's just the north. It'll get better.
yeah.
It
Definitely
didn't
got
get better.
A little concerned when I got a text saying bring bug spray.
Yeah, and gumboots.
Say that again, Bruce. It shouldn't take too much to pull backwards. There's a lot of weight on the front end. I didn't want to reverse in forward too much and break an axle.
Okay.
We go into a shoot with an outline of what we think is probably going to happen based on like our research. And so that kind of combines into like a document that I work on with our writer Connie, and we come up with like ideas. So we're like, okay, presumably they're going to start on this trail, and what we had noted would be a very like easy warm up. So you're going to bang out this 60K the first night. Everyone can camp. Should be fine. It's a good way to get everyone like used to shooting on the trail, used to riding on the trail. And then it very quickly became evident that it was going to be the complete opposite.
When we ultimately decided to continue and pursue the original plan, what were your thoughts?
Seeing the obstacle, we realized that it was going to be a highly problematic situation. But we had a medic, we had enough food, Larry brought like 3 frozen chickens, which I still am not quite sure whatever happened to those.
Unaccounted for.
Somewhere in the Baja.
Yeah, so we were as prepared as we could be. We went, and we just hoped that we had the right people with us.
Glad you didn't take the easy out, Bruce.
Are you?
Stream more AMI original content at AMI.ca.